Hello everybody, this is Kyrix with more Let's Play Nothing, because this isn't a Let's Play. God damn it, you idiot. Hello everybody, this is Kyrix, another episode of This Week in Kyrix. Let's Play. I know it's what I do, but I do this once a week. You'd think I'd be used to it by now. Anyway, I can sum up the HeroClix tournament in just 2 words. Dark Side is. We had a 1,000-point tournament of my design. And you could say I won. That's like saying that this lake is a little moist. It's true, but it's also quite the understatement. Yeah, I won so hard today. Basically, if we weren't playing to time, there would have been no question at how thoroughly I dominated this tournament. If we were just playing to full-on elimination, there would literally be no question in anyone's mind how dominant I was today. Alright, now, those of you who kept track of such things will remember that, the friend that I had quite the falling out with, because he'd stolen some games from me, basically made up with it by giving me some fairly good chase figures from HeroClix. 2 of the 7 deadly sins, wrath and greed, for those who care. Anyway, in that same day at a tournament, I had a booster from the set that those figures came from, and pulled the accompanying greed item. Well, when you play any of the 7 deadly sins, you can play their item on anyone who is not a 7 deadly sin for the cost of the item itself, which is 8 points, you know? So I got the bright idea, hey, I'll play greed and wrath with some figures. I just, need the wrath item. Well, Skinner happened to have the wrath item and 2 sins of his own, lust and envy. Now, he had the envy item, but not the lust item. So I'm like, hey, let me borrow those from you. And he did. And I originally misread how the power works. I basically thought, oh, when you get this, you get the keyword. Because a lot of times when you have things like this, you get stuff like that. Like, oh, equipping this item gives you the keyword, Well, not with the 7 deadly sins, as it turns out. So, it's actually going to be important in a minute for the rest of this story. Because, God, I have so much crap here. But, the reason that's going to be important for this story in a minute is because, the item specifically says you cannot put it on someone who's got the 7 deadly sins keyword, which means that through my original understanding of the rules, you can put it on one character, but that character can't equip any of the other sins. Since that was incorrect, you could have one character theoretically having all of them. Or in my case, one character having 2, or even 2 characters with 2 different sins. Now, originally this is going to be a theme team of the Apocalypse keyword. That is to say the planet, not, horsemen of. This being a Dark Side theme team, basically. It would have Dark Side, Brutal, which is a Superman clone thing, I guess. And, it was going to have a couple other things like Big Barda and a Parademon and some other apocalyptic stuff. But, well, seeing as how it doesn't grant the keyword, it wouldn't be a theme team anymore, so I'm like, you know what? How about instead of just making 4 characters pretty good, I make 2 characters fucking ridiculous. And those 2 characters were Brutal and Darkseid. Now, there are powers. One's called Combat Reflexes, another one's called Energy Shield Deflection. And what these do is Energy Shield adds +2 to your defense from range. And Combat Reflexes does the same thing from melee. Well, 2 of those items grant combat reflexes, the other 2 grant energy shield, so I just put 1 of each on them and made them nigh untouchable. Now on top of that, Greed allows you to equip a relic straight to him of 8 points or less. And keep in mind, the sins themselves, that is the items, not the characters, do not count towards your relic total. And Greed's relic does not count towards your relic total, which means that as of this build, I have 5 relics, none of which are considered to be relics for the purposes of my build. Which is going to be important because resource styles cannot be played with relics or special items. However, since they don't count against my build, they don't count for that stipulation, so I played the Sinestro Core Power Battery, which made Darkseid even stupider, because the Sinestro Core Power Battery says if you equip one of the Sinestro Core constructs on a character, anyone of lower points than them that tries to attack them has a -2 to their attack. Darkseid tops out at 350 points. You are hard-pressed to find an average figure that someone was going to play that could do that. Matter of fact, only one was played like that, and that was the Incredible Hulk, and Anubis played it. The next closest was a 250-point Colossal that the judge played, and he was kind of a joke, that figure. So, basically, Darkseid had a 19 on just flat out, and then 2 more, make him a 21 from close or ranged. And you would have a -2 to hit him on top of that. And Greed's item, the Mother Box, allowed me to basically re-roll your roll if you did hit him. So, Darkseid, the entire tournament, never got hit once. Never took a single point of damage from anything. Every other figure on the team died at least once. Brutal died in one tournament. I lost Lust in all of them. And I lost all of the sins twice, at least. But I don't think Lust made it through a single tournament, or a single round. But the funny thing is, the whole time that I was preparing for this in my head, I was treating the team as though it were only 2 figures, as though it were basically Darkseid and Brutal, and the sins were just kind of there. And it turned out this was doing a great disservice to my team, because the sins, while they didn't play a huge part of the team, nonetheless were incredibly useful, especially as annoyance figures, because each of them did something to fuck with the opponent. Greed mostly just existed to be the Mother Box and to re-roll rolls. Darkseid's rolls specifically, and close range attacks directed at Darkseid. Wrath served to stymie and frustrate anyone who fought him, because anyone who attacked got what was called a Wrath token, and a Wrath token gave you Battle Fury. Battle Fury made you uncarryable, unable to shoot, which would be important considering that my team was heavily range-based. And it would also... It granted a couple of beneficial effects that didn't really matter for this. But in the case of Wrath, every character within 5 of Wrath that had Battle Fury granted him a +1 to damage. So Wrath was hitting like a fucking truck. Ooh, look at the rain, look at the rain. A dig. Got no reason to, but I'm done. And, okay, Lust. Lust had a fun trick that I almost didn't notice right off the bat, which was, Lust says that any opposing figure that's adjacent to any other figure in the game cannot make a ranged attack. So Lust is really useful. It didn't come up into play in this tournament, but anyone who played an enhancement team, which enhancement is basically any ranged character adjacent to an enhancer has +1 to damage, you know. So it would flat out shut that down. Just no questions asked. Which you may realize is very useful when you're not the one trying to shoot. More specifically, when you're the one trying not to be shot at. And Envy just was fun to play with. He had some support powers that were kind of nice. But all in all, the team was ridiculous. Darkseid was phenomenal, and my first round opponent was like, he only took 3 shots. I'm like, yes, but those were game-changing shots. And the fact of the matter is, if we weren't on a time limit, Darkseid by himself could have taken everybody's entire team. With the possible exception of Skinner, but because he wouldn't play me, we don't know. For those who might be wondering why I'm saying he wouldn't play me, we had, my match against Anubis was over in like half the time it should have taken. Round-wise, not saying that I beat him faster than I should have. No, I just beat him faster than the round had time for. So I'm like, hey, I want to fight your team. He's like, no, I haven't slept yet, etc. So it was an optional thing. He didn't have to, and he chose not to. It's not like he chickened out and forfeited his round or anything. He just didn't want to have a 4th match where he basically lost. You know? Because there was nothing on the line. At this point, I was already 3-0, so he wasn't going to dethrone me, you know? But his might have had a problem for me if he'd gotten math, and he probably would have. Because of the way my team was, it wasn't a theme, so I didn't have any bonuses to my map roll. Which meant I was basically at the mercy of whatever map my opponent played. And as it turned out, the first map was the hardest, and they got progressively better for me as the night went on. I don't know why, but they did. So yay. Yay me. Xenoverse. Oh god. I'm at that point in Xenoverse where I have to grind for Elder Kai's power. I'm maybe 10 or so fights away from having level 93 and being able to resume recording. So that's a thing. Sammy got to watch her first few episodes of Sekirei with me today. So that's a thing. Let's go on a trip. Let's go on a journey. Ooh. Kyrix likes iron. I don't know, sucks so. You know what's even sexier than iron? Having extra iron pickaxes to mine more iron. So yeah, watched some Sekirei, got caught up on the latest episode, which was pretty good. I'm trying to remember. It was okay. It was one of the weaker episodes of the season. Friendship is Magic, that is. Not a huge fan. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good either, but yeah, shit happens. Ooh, goodies. What did I find? Fuck, I'm gonna chop it up. Ooh, what's this? Diamond horse armor? Okay, I'll bite. Let's see, what do I not need? Do not need the weight. Oops, that is incorrect. Because reasons. Oh, that was unexpected and a thing. Shouldn't have been a thing, but it was totally a thing. Do you have any gravel I could get rid of or something? Yay thing. Okay. Just dirt. You know what? Let's do a thing here. Perfect, that's a thing now. So yeah, saw some Sekirei, not entirely enthused with the latest Friendship is Magic episode, but I've seen worse. Getting some progress on Xenoverse. Probably going to be ready fairly soon to do some other stuff, I guess. Other stuff meaning, you know, stuff that is stuff. How about I sort out my thoughts before I talk? Wouldn't that be the sexiest thing? Okay, what I was trying to say is, once I finish with Xenoverse, which after I get this latest thing won't take me too terribly goddamn long, I will be able to, there is a word for what I'm trying to say. Damned if I know what it is, but there's a word for it. Yeah, I'll have time to work on my other projects, like, say, Harvest Moon and Digimon and Ring of Red and Front Mission, etc. All the shit that I've got to get done before movies. Of which there is quite a bit. Quite a bit of things that still need to be done. So, I'm not quite near the finish line yet, but I'm getting close. I'm sorry. That line from Married with Children just amuses me so much. Oh dear. I'm gonna ride me some horsey. Horsey ride. Ah. No idea where in the fuck I'm going. Horse wearing plate mail. He's awfully agile. Agility! It's a thing! Holy shit, there's that stupid ship I built. Or, you know, tried to build. Some eldritch horror now. As is the fate of many things I try to build, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Yahtzee's Let's Drown Outs over the past couple days. So I am so pumped for The Sims. For when I do that next year. I'm just excited beyond reason for that. Not completely without merit, you know, I mean, it's gonna be fun. I have, to an extent, toyed with the concept of, I'm still gonna have Kisa in it, etc. Or at least have a version with Kisa in it, I think. So that's gonna be a thing. But, another thing that has occurred to me is, just having a strange setup, you know? You know, weird people together, like, the worst possible combination of character traits, and just having them live together and see if they go insane or whatever. But I'm probably going to go with the pet format, and if I'm still in the mood for this in 2017, go that format, you know? I have no idea how it'll go. I got the horses. Other than that, it's been a pretty dull week. It's been lots of grinding, lots of videos, watching, not so much recording, but, you know, it's a thing. Would you look at that? I got some more chests. I'm gonna use them. Dirt! So many things. I really have hit my fucking limit of what I'm gonna do here. There's nothing left. All my creative ideas are tapped. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's freaking true. I don't know what to do. I mean, even exploring isn't really netting me anything. It's just, I'm just in a kind of stasis now. I have neither the time nor the inclination to do another one of these, you know? Another grand project like this that spans several months is ultimately just pretty. So yeah, this isn't going to happen again, so I'm not going to have another big project. Never did figure out what the heck I was going to do with that. That was just me playing with glass. My Oasis place is nice. Nothing to do in the fucking Nether. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss here. Hello, horsies. What you doing? Really isn't too much else to do, to be perfectly honest here. I was kind of hoping to see something like that. Alright. I have kind of a stupid idea. I mean, it's a stupid idea, but I mean, it's something I can possibly pass the time with. Redstone, redstone. It's a lot of goddamn lava, isn't it? Alright, gonna need some rose red. I'm gonna use the hoe, because I don't use the hoe for anything else. Just kind of there. Unless you're an insane level of farming, I don't think you'll ever break a hoe if you use it for what it's supposed to be used for. Because you don't use it enough to really break it. Lots of yellow, but I need red, please. I don't know why, but I'm suddenly called back to mind some little things I used to watch as a kid, little fairy tale things. I think they were on Nickelodeon, because Cartoon Network didn't exist back then.
Could have been on like ABC or PBS or something. It was probably Nickelodeon. And one of the things was Snow White and Rose Red. I don't remember if they were told in the same story or if they were just kind of back to back or what, but that's a thing I remember that occurred. Was that in addition to Snow White, there was also someone called Rose Red. Pumpkins! Yay! Watch, I'm gonna wander around looking for fucking roses and finally find a village. The one thing that would have instilled life into this stupid update video, you know, months ago. But, it's a bit late. I know, there are times when I just literally almost cry for all the shit in my past that's just gone, you know? And I'm not even talking like people and, well, animals like Kisa. I'm talking just the things, the experiences, anything from shows I used to love to just stupid shit like a silly commercial, you know, that I used to love or just see or might even have been annoyed by, but now that it's gone, I just realize that it's gone. And to an extent, some of it exists on YouTube, like the old Battle Beasts commercials. Those were fun. I've looked those up on YouTube, you know, very nostalgic, very fun. Boglins, which are these little goblinish hand puppet toys, you know. I used to see them all the time when I was watching Dinosaurs, because that was like the first commercial that would come on every episode. You know, every commercial break, just, I'm a boglin, you know? That kind of thing. So, stupid shit like that. And again, shows like Dinosaurs, you know? The very fucking concept of Saturday morning cartoons, even. Like, USA Network used to have the Cartoon Express, which, as stupid as it was, seemed so cool to me that I'd see all the cartoon characters like Pac-Man and the GoBots and some other characters I can just see at the very edge of my consciousness, you know? But I can't quite place them. I think like Yogi Bear might have been there, you know, and it'd just be all these cartoon characters interacting, but not really. But I mean, when you're a kid, that's a fucking crossover, you know? It's like, oh my god, it's the GoBots and they're hanging with Pac-Man. This is the greatest thing ever. And then, you know, Fox Kids, back when Fox Kids was Fox Kids, you know, like I remember being in like 3rd and 4th grade and going over to my friend Mark's house. Again, I'm not saying his last name. There are lots of Marks in the world, and I haven't seen him in over a decade anyway, so who knows, maybe this will help me find him, you know? But, we used to watch the X-Men show fucking religiously. And, you know, if you'd asked either of us, like, who's your favorite X-Men, the hardest question would be, is it Gambit or is it Rogue? You know, because it varied. But generally, that's the answers you'd get from us. It's Gambit or Rogue. He used to have a whole bunch of Star Trek stuff that was just so awesome. He's a big reason of a big part of the reason I got into Star Trek. I mean, it's not wholly him, but you know, seeing him with his Starship Enterprise D poster, you know, schematic poster on his wall, and having all the fucking toys, you know, like he had the transporter, the phaser, the tricorder, communicator, all that fun shit. It was just fun. No, I got into Star Trek to an extent on my own, but he helped, you know? And it's not like it was a thing he actively got me into, it just kind of happened. You know, I started watching a little bit on my own, I'd watch with him, you know, and it's just a lot of fun. And just gaming back then had just a sense of community to it, as silly as that sounds. Which is funny because it was before what we think of as community, like the internet and shit. But like when I was thinking about hanging out with Mark, it's just the idea that we would trade Nintendo games for weeks at a time. Like I would go over to his house and play A Boy and His Blob or half a dozen other fucking games. And one of us would sit down, like usually it'd be me, sometimes it'd be him. We'd sit down and just watch the other one play and contribute ideas and shit. Shit. You know, now that I think about it, I think to an extent, me being a Let's Player is me trying to recapture that. Maybe. I don't fucking know. Maybe I'm just making more of it than it is. Wouldn't be the first time I did something like that, you know? But it is what it is. And again, sometimes it's just the stupid shit, like, again, on Fox Kids, they had that Crash Dummies cartoon. It was just like a little, I don't know if it was a pilot or a special or what, but I always kind of wished it had gone somewhere. Watching The Tick, you know, watching, getting up in the morning, watching stuff on Nickelodeon, watching the old Nicktoons, or not Nicktoons, but the old Nick Jr. shit, like Maya the Bee and whatnot. It's just a lot of fun. I miss those shows so much. I really fucking do. I miss my childhood. I mean, to an extent, I realize it's gone, it's not coming back, and it probably shouldn't, but it doesn't make me miss it any less, you know? It's a big part of me and who and what I was, and this is gonna fucking hurt in a second. And that was deserved. But that's what happens sometimes when you get fucking bored. Again, some of this shit, it's just gone. And I don't really have a follow-up to that. It's just gone, you know? Sometimes shit just goes away. There's not a lot you can do about it. Oh, fuck it. We're doing this my way. Actually, no, we're not. We're just gonna put stuff away. You know what? Fuck it. I'm out of things. There are no more things to do. So, what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna set a little timer for a half an hour. That's how long I'm gonna give myself. And while I really shouldn't, I'm gonna start a new one. Not gonna hit start yet, though. No. Like 2015 too. More options. Yeah, one of the problems I've been having is, one of the things you can do with nostalgia is you can recapture certain things. If you're childhood. Like, for example, I went on eBay and bought a DVD someone made of Mask, that is Mobile Armored Strike Command, and Dino Riders. So I have those entire series. I can watch them whenever I want to, you know. And you know, Thundercats was brought back, so that's another thing that happened. But some things I just can't find. Like, I can't seem to find episodes of Maya the Bee. I can't find GoBots, not reliably anyway. And of course, there's a joke, well, why would you want to watch GoBots? Because I enjoyed it, you little asshole. That's why. There were continuity errors that even as a kid I recognized, like, but nonetheless, it was still entertaining to me. Hell, I finally got some closure on a show that I used to watch a lot as a kid, David the Gnome, you know? My grandmother used to tape pretty much everything I watched for me. You know, I mean, sometimes I catch it live, but a lot of times it was because Grandma taped it that I saw it. And they had, if you ever saw David the Gnome, one of the things they did was, well, one of the things, the thing they did was, how to describe this exactly, whenever the episode ended, you know, you'd get, like, oh, next time, this happens, And I'd seen most, if not all, of the episodes, with one exception. There was an episode that... Really? Okay, I guess I'm getting that. There was an episode that was basically advertised as, you know, gnomes get to be a certain age, I think it was like 400 or 500 years old, and then they just kind of go away, and everyone in the preview was just so sad, and everyone's crying, the gnomes were crying, the animals were crying, and I always wondered, I'm like, it sounds like they're dying, but they wouldn't die, would they? And I'd seen stuff on, like, TV tropes, like, oh yeah, that's a sad episode, because they fucking die, etc. And I downloaded all the episodes. And I finally saw that episode, and you know what? It was pretty fucking sad. I'm kind of glad that I waited until I was an adult to see it, because that would have probably really upset me as a child, you know? I think little 10-year-old Kyrix is happier just watching his other episodes of David the Gnome. Honestly, I wouldn't necessarily put it past my grandmother to have watched that episode ahead of time and thought, this is going to make him sad, and just never taped it for me. And that's why I'd never seen it. I don't think that's what happened, but I wouldn't put it past her to have done that. And it's all speculation at this point, because even if she were still alive, there's no fucking way she would remember with any clarity something she did, God, 20, 25 years ago? So, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've seen it now. And there are certain things that you really can't appreciate until you are an adult. As cliche as that fucking sounds, it's entirely true. There's a show called The Mysterious Cities of Gold. And, you know, I always remember that show, and I always acted like, oh, this is a show I watched when I was a kid. You know, I remember seeing episodes of it. No, I remember seeing an episode of it. Just like when I found out, like, oh, I didn't see much of Dino Riders, but I saw episodes. No, I saw an episode and the pilot. You know, because once I watched all the DVDs, I realized I didn't recognize any of these fucking episodes, you know? And it was the same with, Mysterious Cities of Gold. I had the one episode taped, and I thought I'd seen more, and I hadn't. I'd just seen commercials or something, or maybe I had seen more episodes, and that was just the only one I ever had on tape. But that was not a show that I ever was really attached to as a child, because it was kind of dull and boring and very educational. I wasn't at the point in my life where educational was a good thing, you know? Educational was the stuff the grown-ups tried to cram down your throat when all you wanted to do was watch cartoons. You know, educational used to be a dirty word to children. And it probably still is. You know, I haven't been a child legitimately for quite some time. I don't know. I'm a firm believer in the idea that you have to grow old. You don't have to grow up. You know. So yeah. Is that mushrooms? Yep, that's mushrooms. Anyway, I'm not gonna have a lot of time here. Like 2 months. That's not a lot of time to do much of anything, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna make the most of this little world while I have it. But now that I'm older, I watched through Mysterious Cities of Gold, and it took me like a month because I was, you know, kind of half-assing it. I'd have it on in the background, and I'd watch it occasionally, but I'd listen to it constantly. And I could not possibly, as a child, have appreciated this show as much as I do as an adult. Because I understand a lot of the stuff now, you know? There's so much to it, and it's... If I had to compare it to something, I compare it to Gargoyles or Avatar. In the sense that it's an epic saga. You know, I mean, there's... From episode 1 to... I'm going to say episode 40 or so, whatever the series length is, from the first episode to the last, it is one long, coherent story. And when I was a kid, that was unthinkable that such a thing would be. Another show that I used to watch was Conan the Adventurer, you know, cartoon of it, etc. I feel kind of silly for this one. I had spent so much time getting the episode and downloading and all that, you know, and getting the whole series. And then, like, 2 months later, the hub just aired it. I'm like, really? All that trouble, and it's just, yeah, you know? But Conan. Oh, Conan. That goes under the list of shows way ahead of its time, because Conan was another one of those epic sagas. In a more literal sense this time, because Conan was just a fantasy saga. From the first episode to the last, there was continuity. You may not notice it if you just catch episodes here and there. Because that's how I had first seen it. Like, oh, I'd see it today, and then I'd catch it again in another week or 3 days later or whatever, you know. And I had my friends, and we followed it, and we remembered stuff. And every now and then you'd see something, and then there was also the fact that every week Conan would trade off partners. You know, like, maybe one time he'd have the fucking Viking guy, he'd have Grey Wolf and Zula. And Jesmine, that was her name, Jesmine. And Snag, that was the Viking guy. I kept wanting to call her Tula or Tila. I'm like, no, those are different girls from different shows. But yeah, he'd switch off. And even when you're watching the show, it's not always consistent. Like, 1 week or one episode he'll be adventuring with Grey Wolf and Zula, and the next one he's got Jesmine and Snag with no explanation. But at all times in the series, there is continuity. Like, some minor thing that's shown in one episode will crop up later. And I always used to, as a kid, I'm like, oh, Conan's just what Needle, his little phoenix, called him. He's big, dumb barbarian. There's nothing going on in his head. He's real stupid. No, he's a barbarian, but he was fucking smart in that show, because when you taught him something, he would retain that knowledge. He would learn it. He would keep it, and he would use it again later. And there were minor things like the status quo didn't really, truly exist in Conan. Oh, what's his name? I mean, there were certain things that would hold for a while, like, oh, his family's trapped in the spell of living stone. Well, because that was a main plot point, yes, it was for most part. But at one point he freed, I think it was his grandfather. You know, and his grandfather stayed free. Never went back to living stone. Sasha and Misha, Grey Wolf's brother and sister, were turned into wolves. Well, something was done to them where they basically became werewolves, where for certain periods of time they would be fully human. They'd go right back to being wolves like the next day, but again, it was something. And again, plot points, it was like watching Gargoyles, but before they really realized that kids could have that kind of attention span, you know? Another show that I used to watch and I used to think was so funny was Dinosaurs. And I rented it on Netflix one day. I'm like, oh, Dinosaurs. I used to love this as a kid. I don't know if it'll hold up. Not only did it hold up, it had whole new dimensions of stuff that was funny in ways I never could have imagined as a kid. And it wasn't necessarily adult humor, it's just that I got it now, you know? Though there was plenty of adult humor now that I was old enough to recognize it. But there are some things, like I said, you just have to be older to appreciate. And don't get me wrong, going back and watching everything from your childhood is not always a good thing. Because some of it sucks, you know? Like, I'm going to tell you right now, as much as I love Thundercats, it's not as awesome as you remember as a kid, because it's cheesy, it's campy, the dialogue sucks at times, you know? It's very, very 80s cartoon show kind of thing, or 80s kid show. The original Transformers, is it good? Yeah, of course it's good. Is it perfect? Hell no. You know, there's lots of things wrong with it, but it's still good, and it's still worth seeing. It's not necessarily perfect, but it's worth seeing. Hello, people. There, this right here, this alone would have perked my own village right the fuck up. See, look, here's carrots. I'm gonna steal a couple carrots. I'm gonna replant it, don't worry. I just want some carrots of my own. You know? Got any taters? Any taters for me, boys? There's carrots. There we go. Them's the taters. Right there. Taters. And put this away and this away. Perfect. That's all I need for now. Now, one of the things that I used to do, and still might, is I would trade with villagers. I'd harvest their crops, replant them, and then sell them their own crops, you know? Come here, little villager dude. I want to talk and trade with you. Well? Again, this is something that if I'd had one of these in my old, oh, what's it called? My playthrough, this is something that could have kept me going, you know? I could have done something more. I could have gone further. But I have a village now, so that's the thing. Is he harvesting shit? Ooh, gotta know. Interesting, he's got goodies in here. Not gonna steal from the villagers, I just can't bring myself to do it, really. Now, harvest their crops and sell them back to them? Sure, but I always replant them so they still have crops. I don't even know if villagers even interact with their crops. For all I know, I could level this whole thing and they'd be fine, but I don't know. I just have an innate sense of empathy. Friggin' fictional characters. And it's stupid, but it's part of who I am, you know? See, I'd like to say, oh, it's just because I'm such a good person, but no, I just have a high tendency to anthropomorphize literally everything, you know? Ah, I shall rescue your fields, for you have let it, you know, not be a fieldy. There we go. I got nothing better to do than harvest all your shit for you. Alright, let's see if anyone wants to trade with me. Would any of you like to buy back your own crops that I have kind of stolen, but not really? Jesus, you're fast. Come back here, quit teleporting. Poor man. Can't even get in your own house. And zombies and creepers could spawn in here. Poor things. No wonder you're so vulnerable. Half the time you can't get out of your houses, the other half the time you can't get in them, and when you are able to get in and out of them, there's friggin' nothing going on there. There's no lights, no doors sometimes. Look at this, there's no fucking door. Oh, that's a watchtower in mine, but still. Poor man, you're living in the dark.
Huh?
You are, you're totally living in the dark. Ooh, apples, that's pretty cool. Like a fucking bullet he came shooting out of here. Wait, what was that? Raw chicken. Man, he's a hungry piece of shit if he wants that much chicken for a single emerald. Which I think is what he wanted. Couldn't tell though. There we go. Yeah, this update went fucking nowhere. It's just me rambling on about nostalgia and other such things. I'm sorry about that. Damn it. Give me this. Give me this. That better? There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Yay, things. Yay, perfect things that are perfect all the time forever. One of you guys will buy this shit off me. I've seen you. It's you. Aha. He has an emerald. Yay. Emerald. Yay. I don't even know. Just kind of chill out here and watch the crops come in. Just me being a nice guy. Hello, sir. Don't mind me. Just kind of a migrant worker, really. Actually, not that far from the truth right now. Yeah, I think I've already had the rant about my finances, so I'm not going to get back into it. I have applied for the Medicaid. I'm basically just waiting to hear back for them. Hopefully we can get this sorted out before I'm financially crippled. You know, just kind of sort of have to see how that plays out for me. I'm hopeful because I usually am. But honestly, it's anyone's guess how this is going to play out. Could play out very, very nicely in my favor, but so those of you who are sticking around this long, wish me luck. For the record, when me and my friend play Minecraft co-op together on this PlayStation, he usually does the scouting and the crafting, or the scouting and the mining and the fighting and all that shit, and I build and burrow and do all that shit. Hold on. Where is my back scratcher? There it is. Back scratcher. So much back scratcher. Of course, the other problem with this Medicaid thing is, let's say I hear from them tomorrow and like, you're approved and we're gonna reimburse you right now. I'm the Medicaid consultant, Deckard Cain. I don't know why I keep going back to the fucking Deckard Cain voice. And it's not just me. I was over at my friend's house, slipped in that voice, like, why are you Deckard Cain? I'm like, I don't know. But even if Deckard Cain does approve me, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get my money in time. For all I know, this check could hit me like the middle of December. In which case, I have a whole new set of problems. Because even if they reimburse me the $314, if it doesn't get here in time, I'm going to have no lights. You know, and that's a big deal. So I'd have to borrow it from someone. Tell them, look, I promise you this time I will have it. Because, you know, right now, my credit is not the best among my friends. I mean, they're not, none of them think I'm trying to scam them, because they know I'm not, because I'm not that kind of guy. You know? I won't scam strangers, much less my fucking friends. But, I have to keep borrowing money, and even if they're fine with it, I'm not. You know? I don't like being this dependent on everyone to do shit that I, by right, should be able to do on my own. And again, if I hadn't suddenly gotten screwed like this, I would have been able to afford all my stuff on my own. No questions asked, you know? But yeah, this effectively is limitless resources right here. If I wanted to, I could switch this back over to survival where there's creatures and stuff. And basically build fortifications to keep monsters at bay. So that none of them are coming in here after us, you know? Like this, for example. Incredibly suspect. But, and I would have all the food I need here. And be able to trade for emeralds. To trade for other things, you know? And let's be perfectly honest, I'm probably, for the next week or so, just gonna play in this village and harvest shit. And gather supplies for the long road ahead, wherever that may lead me. And I honestly don't even begin to know where that might go. It's okay. But yeah, like I said, I could very well find out that, yeah, I'm fully reimbursed for the $314.90. And you'll have it, you know, January. That's not gonna help. Or it could be there within 5 minutes, you know? It all depends on how merciful they're feeling. And I intend to fight for this, by the way. Because I kind of have to. Because they're all saying, oh, we'll give you the 104. I'm like, I wasn't charged 104. I was charged 314, and I want my fucking money. It's not greed to want what I need to pay my bills that is mine. You know, I was not warned that I was going to be paying Medicare. I was not warned that my Medicare expired. I was not warned that it was going to come out in one frickin' month like this. I might, theoretically, have been fine losing $100 a month. I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but I could do something with it, you know? I could work on getting reimbursed, and if it didn't happen right away, oh well, I'm down a couple luxuries, you know? I guess you're not getting any Star Trek that week. Yeah, that's gonna suck. Oh well, no video games for you. Yeah, that kinda bites. No, this is, well, you don't have your money, so how do you like living in the dark on Thanksgiving? Well, I don't. Well, get used to it, because your light bill just went into Medicare without your consent. So, yeah. That. I actually, I don't know if I mentioned this, I actually thought for a moment that it might have been something Congress did, because I'd heard that Congress was trying to do some kind of bill to have a more permanent thing for the debt ceiling, where they wouldn't have to fuck with it until 2017 or something like that. And it was going to take something with Social Security and Medicare, and I'm thinking, oh, was this it? And then I realized that if it had been Congress, it wouldn't have cost me money, because they'd be cutting Medicare, not trying to put more money into it. You know? But yeah, I found myself in a very sad situation of having to win the lottery to potentially pay my bills. And you know what? I didn't. Well, I did, but not enough. I had $3. Spent $1 on a ticket, which wasn't my usual brand of ticket, you know? and that returned nothing. So when my aunt had us out to do this Medicaid thing, we stopped by the other Circle K, got 2 of my tickets, you know, scratched those, got my money back, you know. Then, like a day or 2 later, she came back so that we could do a thing. Cashed those $2 in for 2 more tickets. Won nothing on one and $2 on the other one. Cashed that in for 2 more, another $2 one, you know. And basically, I ended up getting like 5 tickets. So I had a remarkable winning streak, but it's all for $1 and $2 at a time, and that doesn't fucking help keep the lights on. And it's not even a case of, oh, I really wish I hit the 500 for life. Which, don't get me wrong, I wanted to, but I'd have settled for like $200 to keep my lights on. Or $400 to get a couple other bills paid, or $1,000 or whatever, you know. Anything over $100 would have been nice. Anyway, we're gonna call it for now. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.